Hello and welcome to this Young Turks edition. I'm Shereen Bhan. We're coming to you from Silicon Valley. We're back here to mark our 21st milestone in conversation with someone who's been part of the Young Turks family and the Young Turks community for a while now. Anand, always good to have you back on the program. Thanks very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Shereen. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
But I want to talk about the San Francisco Unicorns with you, Anand, and that is the T-shirt that you're currently wearing, not the Rocketship T-shirt. And you're bringing cricket. You're part of the group that's bringing cricket finally to the U.S. in July.
That's right. It's super exciting. It's as you know, growing up in India.
New startup.
Yeah, it's Venki's and my latest startup, new startup. It's sort of very interesting. I would never have thought we'd have this opportunity. As you know, growing up in India, we're all huge cricket fans, right? And I was a huge cricket fan growing up in India, going to school in India. And then when I came to the US to study in '93 to go to Stanford, fortunately, that was also the first year of the World Wide Web, and the internet just took off, and that's why I was able to keep in touch with cricket. Right. Even though I moved from India to here, it worked out that I was able to keep in touch through the web, right? And because of that, I was able to follow all the games and so on. But little did I imagine during those years that I would have the opportunity to bring cricket
20 years on.
To bring cricket to the US. And I think it's sort of in a theoretical sense, this is an amazing opportunity, right? Because cricket is the second most popular sport in the world, and the second only to football, soccer. And America is the largest sports market in the world, with a lot of passionate cricket fans here. So it's an amazing opportunity, and I think it's the right time. And the thing that enables it, frankly, is 2020, right? Until a few years ago, cricket was just too long a sport, right, to bring to the US market. But now 2020 is packaged that down to a 3-hour format with non-stop excitement throughout the game, right? The feats of athleticism as as catches get taken on the boundary, right? These are amazing moments of athleticism, and I think that's the right package to bring the sport to the US. I'm super excited.
Well, speaking about bringing this package to the US, I mean, it's quite a motley bunch of you working together to actually make this a reality. You, Venki, of course, with the San Francisco Unicorns, Satya Nadella as well, and a whole bunch of other folks from the diaspora making this happen.
That's right. I mean, look, I think this just is a testament to the popularity of cricket among the diaspora, the Indian diaspora. And it's an honor that Satya Nadella is one of the co-owners of the Seattle team, as you mentioned, and Shantanu Narayan, the Adobe CEO, is one of the co-owners of the San Francisco Unicorns, along with Venki and myself. And we have some amazing people owning the teams in the other territories as well. And it's great to have the IPL teams involved as well, right? For example, the Kolkata Knight Riders own the LA Knight Riders. And the Chennai Super Kings are the majority investors in the Texas Super Kings, where the minority investors, also include Ross Perot Jr., right? So and Anurag Jain, his partner. So it's an amazing group there as well.
And the Mumbai Indians are in on it as well.
That's right. And the Mumbai Indians own the New York team, so it's MI New York. And then we have the Washington Freedom, which is owned by a prominent businessman from the Washington D.C. area, Sanjay Govil. So it's an amazing group that's coming together to bring this sport. And the first season starts in July, so we are 3 weeks away from the start of the season.
But conflicted because you've got the Chennai Super Kings playing here as well. You're a big fan of CSK, but now you're an owner of the San Francisco Unicorns.
Totally, I'm a fanboy, right? In the IPL, I totally support CSK, right? My heart bleeds yellow when I'm watching the IPL. And I was actually, courtesy of the Chennai Super Kings, I went and watched a training camp in Chennai as well, right? So it's amazing, and I'm a huge fan of MS Dhoni as well. So I'm going to be an IPL CSK supporter in the IPL, but unfortunately in the Major League Cricket, the US edition, I have to support the San Francisco Unicorns.
Yes, of course. But let's talk about the economics of it, because as you said, this is your latest startup now. So you are obviously not just looking at passion, but you're also looking at a return on investments eventually. Given what the IPL has been able to do back home in India, I mean, every year just record numbers being piled on. What's the opportunity that you see here?
Right. So as I said, it's the second largest sporting market in the world. And what's happened over the last 20, 25 years, as you're well aware, is that many people from cricket-loving countries have come and settled in the U.S. Right. So now there's a huge number of cricket lovers in the U.S. from the Indian subcontinent, but also from England, from Australia, from the Caribbean, and so on. And those numbers have been growing. And those people, many of those people from those communities are super passionate about cricket and cannot get enough of it. So I have some stats from Willow TV, which is the streaming network that owns the right to worldwide cricket for many games, including the IPL and sort of broadcast them in the US. And according to their statistics, more minutes of cricket are consumed in the US than minutes of Major League Soccer, which is,
That's interesting.
Yeah, right. So and Major League Soccer is an established league in the US. So that just shows you the potential.
Speaking of the talent, you've managed to get some celebrity names on board as well. Shane Watson, part of the team.
That's right. I'm so very, very excited. Shane Watson, to have Shane Watson as a coach, he's amazing, and he has a very interesting take on high performance culture and how a lot of high performance comes from the mind as opposed to anything else. And he has his deep philosophy on that he brings to the team. So it's amazing to have him. And a lot of as you know, look, I'm very passionate about cricket, but I've never run a cricket team in my life. Right? I wouldn't know how to do that. So what we did is that we did a strategic partnership with Cricket Victoria, which is the Cricket Association of Melbourne in Australia. And of course, they have deep expertise in cricket with two Big Bash teams and the state team and so on. And they have been super helpful to us in helping us find Shane Watson, also helping us draft some of our superstars, including Aaron Finch, the World Cup winning T20 captain, Marcus Stoinis, who just had an amazing IPL, Matthew Wade, who was also a World Cup winning T20 cricketer.
Let's now talk about what's happening with the startup ecosystem here and in India. The big buzz at this point in time, and the conversations that I'm having here are all about AI. Everyone wants to get onto the AI bus if they're not on it already.
Right.
How are you reading what's going on there?
This year was definitely an inflection point in the development of AI which started with ChatGPT. So it's sort of been building for the last few years, but this year was when we really saw the inflection point. So I think there's definitely been something new and something that has changed in the world of AI that has happened this year. There's no doubt about that. So Silicon Valley has been waiting for the next foundation technology since mobile to really change things, and AI is seen as that. So there really is a gold rush mentality, which makes a lot of sense. Now, we, as you know, at Rocketship, we are a data-driven venture capital firm.
What's the algorithm telling you?
Exactly. So we built data on millions and millions of startups all over the world, and we built machine learning models ourselves to try to find interesting companies. And so we've been looking at what the models have been telling us. And so basically, these AI companies fall into two or three different buckets. The first bucket is the companies that are developing foundation models, like OpenAI, like Google, like Facebook, Meta. These companies are developing these foundation models, and developing these foundation models, which is where, in fact, a lot of the hard work is, and where the breakthrough has recently happened. That is something that requires a large amounts of capital. Invested, because it requires huge amounts of GPUs and processing power and so on, and that's outside the reach of most startups, right? So it can be done at the scale of a Google or a Meta or an OpenAI that has raised billions of dollars, but not by a startup. Or it can be done by a nation state, right? Like a China or an India, but it cannot be done by a startup. So I think those are going to be super exciting, but those spaces, I think, are going to be owned by incumbents. Now, the second space is the tooling that's necessary for companies to adopt these new technologies. And there we are seeing some interesting companies adopting, in the tooling space that we are looking into. But the third space, which is to me the most exciting space, is companies that use these new technologies to transform huge industries in huge economies, right? So, for example, if you can transform agriculture in India using AI, that would be amazing, right? I think that's the real potential. I see these things like AI, potentially they can compete with humans, but I think in the long run, humans and AI have to partner with each other to go to the next level. I sort of feel that these fears of AI going to replace us, I think they're a little bit overblown. From the way I see it, AI is just a very smart tool. We have adopted other smart tools to make progress, and AI is yet another tool that we have to adopt in order to make progress.
You're talking about this convergence. It's a happy convergence in your mind between AI and humans.
Right.
But the conversation now has shifted from it is going to enhance productivity, it is going to enhance efficiency and so on and so forth, to displacement and now extinction as well. Where do you come in on that?
Well, I guess it depends on whether you're a fan of the Terminator movies, right? I do. Skynet, which is the Terminator thing. I mean, people are worried about that the AI coming and taking over the world, and I think it's. I wouldn't say it's an impossible thing if you allow the AI to give it access to weapon systems and things of this nature, it might happen. So I think we have to be careful and build in safeguards, and there will be government regulation as well to prevent, for example, access of AI to weapons of mass destruction, things of this nature. So we have to be careful and cognizant of those scenarios. But at the same time, I think we also have to enable entrepreneurs and startups to experiment with AI very broadly to see where you can transform the world. I mean, at some level, if you think about any new technology, right? There are two ways you can do new things. You can either take a new technology and try to fit it into the world and try to improve it, or you can try to take the new technology and completely reinvent things around it. And it's always this latter, reinventing things around the new technology, that really leads to true progress and innovation. By the way, honestly, I think this is also the big opportunity for India, right? India is in an enviable position where we don't have as big a legacy in terms of legacy technology debt as some of the developed world, including the US, and we have a very young population. India has a super young population that's eager to embrace and adopt new technologies, and sort of and they're very happy to transform the world using the new technology. The government is entirely behind that as well, with India Stack, with the payments and so on. India has been sort of using technology to redefine things as opposed to trying to retrofit technology into existing processes. And I think that's a big opportunity for a country like India right now. It can be India's decade, as opposed to just India's decade, because if India is very thoughtful and allows entrepreneurs to experiment using AI to completely redefine industries, I think it's going to be transformative.